Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Dead here. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by and watching this video. Today's video is going to be a sequel, if you will, to the previous video that I made. And the previous video I made was the 5 steps or the 5 tips that you could use to help pay down debt, and that's you could use to your advantage. And I mentioned in that video that there are a couple of bad ways that you could go about paying off your debt, and this is what this video is going to be about. So if you want to know exactly what those 2 ways are, please stick around. I'm going to be explaining that shortly, but before I get into that video, just going to explain to you a little bit about my story and how I found myself accumulating over $200,000 in debt starting from when I was 22 years old. I invested in a real estate course that promised me the world and didn't deliver anything close to that. And I found myself making a series of bad decisions after that because I started thinking emotionally instead of logically. And that really put me into a bad situation where I found myself accumulating that $200,000 of debt. And, 6 years down the road, I still have that debt, still trying to pay it off, but I'm almost there. Progress is being made on a weekly basis. I'm taking a bite out of that debt, one piece at a time, as I continue through my journey, and that's why I'm here creating these videos, because that's why I wanted to create this channel as well, because I wanted to take note and document my journey along the way and the kind of experiences that I've gained and the mistakes that I've made that will hopefully help you to sidestep any mistakes that I've kind of been through, right? The whole purpose of this channel is to really help those of you who are watching to gain experience through my mistakes so that you don't make them yourselves. And I really want to help you because I know the situation that you're in. I know how shitty it is, and I really want to help in any way I can. And this is the best way that I think I could put my story out there for those of you to watch, and hopefully you get something out of it. Now, as we get into the video, the 2 bad ways of taking care of your debt is consumer proposal and bankruptcy. But before I get into exactly what those 2 are, please note that I'm not a financial advisor, okay? And this information is, or this video is for informational purposes only. And if you're considering these options, which even I disagree and I would advise not to, but if you are, please seek out professional help that is tailored to your unique situation and that could help you make the best decision for yourself and for your family financially. But like I mentioned, the 2 ways that you could take care of your debt that are in a negative situation is consumer proposal and bankruptcy. Now, consumer proposal is, I would best describe it as a worse form of debt consolidation, right? Because debt consolidation, you're putting all of your debts into one basket. You're grouping it all the baskets, all the debts that you have, and you're putting it into one bucket or basket. Whereas consumer proposal, you are going to your creditors and you are letting them know that you can't pay everything. So you go to your creditors, you let them know that you're unable to pay everything, and you come up with a settlement for an amount that you can pay. Now, this option can provide relief of reducing your debt. However, it goes against your credit score. And I really wanted to make this video because you hear a lot of, commercials and radio ads out there talking about consumer proposal and how you could just make a call and get it done. And it is true, they actually go out there and they talk to your creditors for you, but at the end of the day, they get a cut out of it. They get a cut out of it, and they don't disclose, or I'm not too sure if they would disclose because I never really reached out to them. I actually reached out to my mortgage agent when I was in the whole investment process and I was drowning in the debt that I was drowning in. I heard a commercial like that. I heard a commercial where they made it sound like you make a call, they talk to your creditors, they make up a settlement payment that'll help reduce your debt so you don't have to pay the whole amount, and then you're done. But when I went to my mortgage agent, they told me that it's basically a kind of blackout period that shows on your credit history. So even though the creditors will obviously make it out to be this good thing, that it benefits you, that it gets you into debt relief, you can pay off your debt sooner, they don't mention that there's that black period where, let's say, for example, the settlement payment period is for 3 years. Well, that 3-year period, you can't use your credit cards, lines of credit, everything is basically on a freeze. And for that huge amount of time, whatever the time is, there's nothing being done. So after you pay off your debt and you want to get a new car, or you want to get a house, you want to get a loan, you want to make any kind of move financially, they're going to have access to your credit history. And they're going to see that for a certain period of time that nothing happened, which will just cause more questions and more concerns, and they'll ask and they'll dig into it and they'll find out that you did a consumer proposal. And in the eyes of a creditor, that's not a good thing, because you have a negative track record of paying off your debts. Now, even though you might go the traditional route of budgeting and paying it off slowly but surely, at the end of the day, you still paid it off. When it comes time to consumer proposal, they look at it as, well, this person's not really trustworthy. You're not trustworthy with the money, because who's to say that I'm going to give you this loan and in the future, whether it's near or far, you're going to come to me saying that you can't pay it all, and now I'm stuck in the lender's eyes holding the bag. So that's why consumer proposal is a kind of like a facade, I would say, because it seems great up front, and to the credit and to the consumer proposal people and to the people that you hear though that message, they make it sound like it's really good. But on the flip side, there's a lot of negatives. And the second bad way of taking care of the debt is filing for bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy is a legal process where if you're overwhelmed by debt, it gives you a fresh start financially. And it involves you letting all the creditors know that you're unable to pay all the debts where they at, and that provides you with debt relief as well. You know, when you go to those certain companies out there, I don't want to name any particular names, but when they talk about consumer proposals or bankruptcy, that's taking the short route. That's taking the shortcut way out. And when it comes to debt, to better your financial situation, there is no shortcut. When you go through these consumer proposal and the bankruptcy, the reason why I say that it's a bad way of taking care of your debt is because it provides you with a temporary solution, but doesn't really help you in the long term. Because in the long term, when you try to go for those loans, there's that stigma. There's that, stain on your credit history that's just going to haunt you for a long period of time, if not forever. Because there's always going to be that lapse in time, that blackout point. And that's not what you want to do. You want to avoid that. You want to make sure that, the situation that you find yourself in is shitty. I understand that to the utmost. I'm here fucking 6 years after, still trying to pay off a debt that I thought was never going to be paid off. Right? I thought that the interest was going to be killing me over and over again, and the hole is going to get deeper and deeper. But if you really dig deep, get a plan sorted out, you can pay that off without going the shortcut, without going through consumer proposal and bankruptcy that is going to tarnish your credit history for a very long time. But even though those are the bad ways, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to mention that just so you're aware of it. Just so when you hear those commercials, when you hear those radio ads say how good it is to just go through consumer proposal and bankruptcy and get rid of your debt, provide you debt relief, get that weight off your shoulders, start thinking about your future, that's not what happens. I'll promise you this, going through that is not the way to do it, and you will be worse off compared to spending a few more years of just paying off your debts through the regular budgeting and the action plans that you have set forth. It'll put you in a much better situation. So there you have it. Once again, quick recap. The two bad ways of paying off your debt is consumer proposal and bankruptcy. And like I said in the beginning, if you are thinking of going through any of those two options, this is a video of just me giving you information on why you should avoid those, why I think you should avoid those two ways. And if I were to talk to any of my friends or family or people who are close to me, I would steer them as far away as I can. Make sure that is the absolute final I wouldn't even consider that because of how bad it is. But at the end of the day, each person's financial situation is different. Each person's life is different. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are even remotely considering any of these options, please make sure that you seek out a professional that will help you out in your own financial situation. So there you have it, folks. If you enjoyed the content that I've said in this video today, please leave a like in this video. If you want to join the community, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that you get notified as to when I come out with more content like this. If you find it helpful, if you know of anyone else who will find this or who will get any information, get any use out of this information, please make sure to share this to anyone that you know that really needs to hear this message. I look forward to making more content like this. Remember, you are not alone. You're not a victim of your circumstances, and you can change things. I believe in you. I'm making sure that I go down my own journey, and I'm going to get it done for myself. And I believe that if I could do it, you can do it for sure, 100%, without a doubt. I look forward to making more content like this. Remember, shoulders back, chin up, and I'll see you on the next one.